This video is about he loved her kind heart, but the moon goddess had chosen another mate. If this story captivates you, please like the video, share it with loved ones, and write in the comments how it touched your heart. The moon hung high in the night sky, casting a silvery glow over the dense grove of pine trees that bordered the Silverhall territory. The air was crisp, filled with the rustle of leaves dancing in the gentle wind. It was the kind of night that tugged at the very essence of a werewolf's soul, awakening instincts rooted deep within. At the edge of a clearing, Lyra stood, her heart racing as she inhaled the familiar scent of pine and earth, mixed with a hint of something more intoxicating. Ronan. He was the alpha of the Silverhall pack, a man whose very presence commanded respect and admiration. His dark hair shimmered under the moonlight, and his smoldering ember eyes locked onto hers, igniting a fire that sent warmth coursing through her veins. "Lyra," he murmured, stepping closer, his voice low and rich like the deepest woods. Shouldn't he be out here alone?" She felt a shiver run down her spine, not from fear but from the electrifying connection they shared. "I know," she replied softly, her voice barely a whisper. "But I needed to clear my head. The full moon always stirs something inside me." He was close enough now that she could see the concern etched on his face, but it was something deeper in his eyes that made her heart ache. The unspoken bond between them was palpable. An omega among alphas, Lyra had always been the gentle heart of the Silverhall pack, nurturing and caring, but it was her kindness that made her vulnerable. Ronan stepped even closer, his hand brushing against hers. "You read too important to wander alone. There are dangers lurking in the shadows." Lyra forced a smile, her heart fluttering at the warmth of his touch. "I am not afraid. I have you to protect me." But as those words left her lips, a lingering question haunted her thoughts. Would he choose her, or would the moon goddess decide her fate? The bond between them was fierce, yet it was a bond clouded by uncertainty. Ronan had a duty, a responsibility to lead his pack, and every omega longed to be chosen as a mate. But there was a weight in the air, a tension that whispered of fate and the moon goddess's will. As if reading her mind, Ronan's expression faltered and his jaw tightened. "Lyra, there is something I need to tell you," he began, his voice thick with emotion. "The moon goddess has spoken." The words hit her like a cold wave crashing over her. The ancient tales echoed in her mind, tales of mates chosen by divine powers, and her heart plummeted at the implications. "What do you mean?" she managed to ask, though she feared the answer. "I am to be mated to another," he confessed, his voice trembling slightly as he spoke the painful truth that had haunted him. "A she-wolf from the Ironclaw pack. They have strength, power, a lineage that will strengthen our alliance." Lyra's heart shattered, 1,000 pieces skating down like autumn leaves. You can't be serious." Her voice trembled, laced with disbelief. "You don't want to be with her. We have something special, Ronan." But he shook his head, anguish etched across his handsome face. "It is not about what I want, it is about what is best for the pack. The moon goddess has decreed it." His eyes flickered with a deep sorrow, mirroring her own. "Best for the pack," she echoed, feeling the sting of betrayal. "What about what is best for you, for us?" Her voice cracked with desperation, and she felt tears prickling at the corners of her eyes. Ronan stepped back, the distance between them widening as if by some invisible force. "I never wanted to hurt you, Lyra," he said, his voice choked. "But the moon goddess is what cannot be questioned. It is destiny." The very word felt like a dagger in her heart. Destiny had always painted a picture of a blissful union for her, but now it felt like a cruel joke. She was destined to love a man who could never truly be hers. "What if I told you I could fight for us?" she pleaded, desperation weaving through her words. "I could prove I am worthy." A flicker of hope ignited in his eyes, but it was quickly snuffed out. "It is not just about worthiness, Lyra. It is about our packs, our futures." He trailed off, turning his gaze away from her as if he couldn't bear to see the pain in her eyes. "Then you would choose duty over love?" she asked, her voice trembling with the weight of heartbreak. Ronan's gaze softened, and he took a step toward her, longing etched on his face. "You have no idea how much I want to choose you, but I am bound by tradition, by the expectations of an alpha. I must think of the pack." "And what about us?" she whispered, tears streaming down her cheeks. "What about the bond we have?" The silence hung heavy in the air, thick with unspoken words and shattered dreams. Ronan's expression shifted, his heart battling against his duty as an alpha. "I'll always care for you, Lyra. You are my heart, but I am not free to love you as I wish." With those words, he turned and walked away, each step echoing the finality of their fate. The ache in her chest felt insurmountable, a gaping wound that threatened to consume her whole. Distraught, Lyra fell to her knees, the forest around her dimming in the wake of her anguish. The moonlight, once a beacon of hope, felt like a cruel reminder of what she could never have. As the tears streamed down her face, she felt the stirring of her wolf within, a primal urge to howl her sorrow to the moon. But instead of giving in to despair, a flicker of determination ignited within her. She would not accept this fate without a fight. The moon goddess may have chosen another, but she would carve her own path, even if it meant embracing the darkness of rejection. "I will find a way," she vowed to the night sky, her heart pounding with newfound resolve. "I will show you that love can conquer even the strongest bonds of destiny." And so, under the watchful gaze of the moon, Lyra began her journey, a journey fraught with challenges, betrayals, and a fierce longing for a love that felt impossibly out of reach. Her heart ached for Ronan, but it also burned with the fire of defiance. As she rose from the forest floor, wiping her tears away, she felt the weight of the world upon her shoulders. A spark of magic danced in the air around her, whispering secrets of destiny, love, and the trials yet to come. The moon goddess may have chosen another, but Lyra was determined to reclaim her destiny and prove that love could not be bound by the mandates of gods. This was just the beginning. The forest was alive with the sound of rustling leaves, each whisper echoing the turmoil in Lyra's heart. She wiped her eyes, taking a deep breath to steady her raging emotions. The moon goddess had woven her destiny into the fabric of the universe, but Lyra was determined to unravel it. As she turned from the clearing, a sudden rustle in the bushes made her pause. Out stepped Kaelan, Ronan's younger brother, whose dark features mirrored their mother's fierce spirit. His deep-set eyes glinted with concern, and his expression was a mixture of sympathy and unease. "Lyra," he called softly, moving closer as the moonlight reflected off his silvered edges. "I saw Ronan leave. He looked devastated." "He chose duty over love," she replied, her voice breaking. "He is bound to this arrangement with the Ironclaw Pack, as if he could simply cast aside what we shared." Kaelan's brow furrowed. "Ronan cares for you, but he is the alpha. His decisions weigh heavily on him. It is not just about you two." With anger flaring in her chest, Lyra retorted, "You think I don't understand that, but I am still here, Kaelan. I am the Omega. I am supposed to be his heart, yet here I am cast aside like a forgotten promise." Kaelan stepped closer, frustration etched across his face. "You are not forgotten. The moon goddess may have chosen another, but your heart is stronger than you realize. If anyone could change fate, it would be you." "Change fate? How?" she whispered, desperation lurking beneath her words. "I can fight the tides of destiny. I don't even know the first step to take." "Start by proving your worth," he said, determination glimmering in his eyes. "Ronan is torn. Perhaps if you show him you can be an equal to the Ironclaw, he'll reconsider." Lyra's heart raced at the possibility. "You mean to train, become stronger, fight for my place alongside him?" "Yes, you have a warrior spirit within you, Lyra." Kaelan stepped closer, his eyes filled with a fierce intensity. "I'll help you, but you must promise to keep your heart protected. This path will be fraught with challenges." With a nod, Lyra felt the warmth of hope flicker in her chest. "Then let this begin." The next few weeks became a blur of relentless training. Under Kaelan's guidance, Lyra learned to channel her wolf instincts more fiercely than ever before. They spent nights running under the moon, practicing agility, strength, and combat techniques. Each day she grew stronger, more confident, and less afraid of the power she held within. Yet, despite the growing fire within her, her heart ached for Ronan. He remained distant, his time consumed by pack duties and the looming alliance with the Ironclaw Pack. When she caught glimpses of him, her heart would race, but he passed her by as if she were a ghost haunting his steps. One crisp evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting an orange hue across the sky, Lyra found herself sitting on a fallen log at the edge of the forest. The weight of her training sessions hung heavy on her shoulders. Kaelan approached, his features slightly shadowed by the twilight. "Lyra, you've improved tremendously," he praised, sitting beside her. "But I sense something else is gnawing at you." "I miss him," she admitted, her voice barely more than a whisper. "Every ounce of strength I gain feels hollow without Ronan by my side." Kaelan sighed, leaning back against the log, contemplating the stars emerging one by one. He must confront him, show him the woman you are becoming, not just the girl he once knew. "But what if he doesn't want to see me?" she questioned, her heart heavy with uncertainty. "What if he has already accepted his fate?" "Then you must show him he still has a choice," Kaelan urged, fire igniting in his eyes. "Even the strongest bonds can be reshaped." Lyra took a deep breath, drawing strength from his words. "You be right. I'll face him tomorrow." The next day dawned with a sense of urgency, and as the sun cast its golden rays upon the Silverhall territory, Lyra made her way to the main clearing where Ronan often trained his pack. She stood tall, heart pounding with anticipation. Ronan was there, his formidable presence commanding respect as he sparred with another pack member. The sight of him sent a rush of emotions through her, and she hesitated for a moment before stepping forward. "Ronan," she called, her voice steady despite the tremor running through her body. He paused, turning to face her, and for a brief moment surprise flickered across his handsome features. But then his expression hardened. "Lyra, you shouldn't be here. I am busy." "I am here to talk," she insisted, stepping closer. "You owe me that much after what you said." "Lyra, please," he warned, a hint of frustration creeping into his tone. "This isn't the time." "It is the time," she shot back, her voice rising. "I've been training, becoming stronger, and I refuse to let you walk away from us without a fight." Ronan's expression shifted, a flicker of admiration crossing his face before it was replaced by the weight of his obligation. "You're an Omega. You don't understand the complexities of what, duty, tradition? I don't care about that anymore," she interrupted, fury igniting within her. "I care about you, about us. The moon goddess may have chosen another, but I believe we can rewrite our destiny." He stepped back, anguish flashing in his amber eyes. "Lyra, this isn't just about you and me. It's about the packs. Our future depends on this alliance. I can't betray my family." "Betrayal? You betraying yourself," she exclaimed, frustration spilling over. "You choosing a future that isn't yours. You know in your heart that we belong together." He ran a hand through his hair, torn between his duty and the undeniable connection he felt for her. "What do you want from me? Tell me you want me," she pleaded, stepping closer, desperation in her gaze. "Tell me it is not too late for us." The silence that followed felt heavy, like the weight of the world had settled on his shoulders. Ronan's gaze bored into hers, and she could see the struggle within him, his will fighting against the chains of obligation. "I want you," he finally admitted, his voice barely a whisper. But, she echoed, her heart aching at the word. He looked away, pain etched in his features. "But wanting you isn't enough. The moon goddess has chosen, and I cannot defy her." A tear slipped down her cheek, but she stood her ground. "Then let me fight for you, for us. Let me show you I can be what you need." Ronan's gaze snapped back to hers, raw and vulnerable. "It is not just about strength, Lyra. It is about the future of our packs. If you challenge the Iron Claw—" "I am not afraid," she interrupted fiercely. "I am not afraid of them or what they represent. I am afraid of losing you to a destiny that isn't yours." His expression softened, and he took a step forward, his resolve wavering. "You don't realize what you're asking of me." "I am asking you to trust in us," she pleaded, her voice trembling with conviction. "To have faith that love can break even the strongest bonds." The air crackled with tension as Ronan's gaze searched her face, desperation battling against his duty. "Lyra, you may not understand the consequences. If I fight for you, it will change everything." "Then let it change," she urged, her heart racing with hope. "Let it change for the better." Ronan hesitated, and in that moment, Lyra knew she couldn't let fear dictate their fate. Summoning her courage, she stepped into the space between them, her heart racing. "I believe in you, in us, do you?" Silence enveloped them as their eyes locked, and for a fleeting moment, the world around them faded away. Ronan's heart wrestled with the tides of destiny, and she could sense his struggle in the air, charged with longing and desperation. Finally, with a heavy breath, he replied, "Yes, but can you withstand what comes next?" "I am ready," she declared, unwavering. "For us." As the night deepened, their fates intertwined, and the promise of love hung in the air, a fragile yet fierce bond that would lead them down a path of trials, challenges, and the undeniable magic of the heart. Together, they would face whatever the moon goddess had in store. With determination ignited, Lyra felt newfound strength within her. As they stood together, their hearts beating in sync with the pulse of destiny, they knew their journey was just beginning, one that would test every fiber of their being, unearthing the depths of love and loyalty that transcended the bonds of tradition. In the heart of the forest, they began to forge a new destiny, a love that could withstand the trials of fate, forging a path that would either lead. As the moon hung high above the Silverhall territory, casting ethereal shadows across the forest floor, Lyra felt the weight of the world pressing upon her shoulders. The air was thick with anticipation as she and Ronan faced each other, the crackling energy between them igniting her spirit. "I can promise it will be easy," Ronan said, his voice low, every syllable trembling with uncertainty. "Defying the moon goddess is dangerous." "It is our only chance," she replied, her heart pounding with fervor. If I am to prove my worth, I must stand beside you. We must confront the Iron Claw together. But they were a powerful pack, Lyra, he cautioned, his brow furrowing as he searched her eyes for doubt. They won't take kindly to a challenge. I am not asking for permission, I am asking for your support, she insisted, her voice steady. I believe in us, in our bond, we can write what has been dictated by the stars. Rona's gaze flickered, torn between admiration and fear. If you be determined, then I won't hold you back, but you must be prepared for the consequences. She stepped closer, feeling the warmth radiating from him, an anchor in the storm of uncertainty swirling around them. I am ready for anything, Ronan, I will fight for us. The fire in her eyes sparked something in him, an ember of hope fighting against the dark shadow of duty. Very well, he said finally, resolve hardening his features. We will confront them at the next full moon, but you must trust me, I'll protect you. The trust is a two-way street, she reminded him softly, reaching out to clasp his hand. You must trust in my strength as well. As their fingers intertwined, a spark of magic pulsed through the air, a reminder of the bond that tethered their fates together. In that moment, both felt an overwhelming sense of unity, a shared heartbeat echoing in the depths of their souls. But the days leading to the confrontation felt heavy with foreboding. Lyra trained harder than ever, pushed by Kaelan's relentless guidance and her own desire to prove herself. Each dawn seemed to arrive with the taste of bittersweet longing, the thrill of anticipation mingling with the reality of the challenge ahead. Breathe in, Lyra, Kaelan urged, guiding her through a series of strikes and blocks. Channel the wolf within you, let it fuel your power. I know, she replied, sweat glistening on her brow as she executed a powerful kick. But it's not just my strength, it's about what is at stake. Kaelan nodded, his expression serious. Ronan's heart is in this, but he has a duty. The Ironclaw pack will fight for their own. Don't underestimate their ferocity. I won't, she said, determination flooding her veins. But I can let fear hold me back. I need to show Ronan that I can stand beside him as an equal. Days blurred into nights, and as the full moon approached, the air crackled with tension. Lyra could feel the weight of inevitability looming over them like a storm cloud, and her heart raced at the thought of facing the Ironclaw pack. On the night of the full moon, the forest glowed with an otherworldly light. Lyra stood in the clearing, clad in leather armor that hugged her form, the moonlight illuminating the determined set of her jaw. Ronan approached, his presence commanding, yet his eyes betrayed the turmoil roiling within him. Are you ready? He asked, his voice low, yet laced with concern. I've never been more ready, she replied, her heart pounding. We can't back down now. As the night deepened, they made their way to the border of the Ironclaw territory. The air felt thick with tension, and the shadows of the trees stretched like fingers, creeping closer as if to grasp onto the fear they both felt. Ronan halted, his eyes narrowing. Stay close to me. Lyra nodded, adrenaline surging through her veins. She could feel the weight of the challenge pressing upon them like a tangible force, and she took a deep breath, centering herself in the moment. When they arrived at the edge of the Ironclaw pack's territory, a low growl resonated through the trees as a figure emerged from the shadows. It was Alaric, the alpha of the Ironclaw pack, his imposing figure outlined by the silver light of the moon. Ronan Silverhull, Alaric called, his voice deep and menacing. What brings you here, intruding upon my territory? Ronan stepped forward, his posture strong, yet Lyra could sense the tension in his muscles. I seek a challenge, he declared, his voice steady despite the undeniable weight of the moment. A challenge for our packs, to prove the strength of our bonds. Alaric's eyes narrowed, a mirthless smile creeping across his face. You bring an Omega with you. How amusing. Do you truly believe she can stand against my warriors? Lyra felt the sting of his words, but she held her ground, her heart racing. I am more than just an Omega, she asserted, stepping forward to stand beside Ronan. I am here to fight for our right to choose our destiny. Laughter erupted from Alaric's pack members, a chorus of derision that made her stomach twist. You think you can challenge us, you real fool, to think love can conquer tradition. Love isn't a weakness, Ronan countered, his voice rising above the laughter. It's what drives us to fight for what we believe in. Then let us see how far that belief takes you, Alaric sneered, gesturing to his warriors. Prepare for a fight, but know this, the moon goddess's choice cannot be undone. As the Ironclaw warriors stepped forward, Lyra felt the primal instincts within her awaken, a powerful urge to protect what was hers surfacing. She faced the warriors, her heart racing, but she couldn't back down now. Alaric raised his hand, signaling for silence. If you believe so strongly, then let us make this interesting. A duel for your honor, Lyra. Fight one of my strongest warriors. Should you win, we consider your claim. Lyra's breath caught in her throat. A duel? This was not what she had envisioned. But the fire within her ignited. I accept, she spoke, her voice steady, even as doubt threatened to creep in. Ronan's gaze flickered with concern. You don't have to do this, Lyra. I do, she replied, her heart resolute. I must prove myself. As they stepped into the makeshift arena, Lyra felt the weight of the world on her shoulders. The pack members encircled them, their eyes glinting with anticipation. She faced her opponent, a large male with muscles that rippled beneath his fur, confidence radiating from him. The fight began with a howl that echoed through the trees. They circled each other, a dance of instincts and raw power. With each step, Lyra channeled the training she had endured, every moment of sweat and pain flooding back to her. The Ironclaw wolf lunged, and Lyra dodged, her instincts kicking into overdrive. She twisted, feeling the rush of power surge through her as she countered with a swift kick that sent her opponent sprawling. Cheers erupted from her pack, but the Ironclaw warriors growled in disbelief. Impressive, little Omega taunted her opponent, getting back to his feet. But you can win against the strength of tradition. Lyra gritted her teeth, determination igniting. I am not just an Omega, I am Ronan's choice. With that declaration, she lunged forward, her spirit soaring with the freedom of unleashed potential. The fight became a blur of strikes and counterattacks. In that moment, she was no longer just Lyra, she was a force of nature, fierce and unyielding. As the battle raged on, she felt the bond between her and Ronan strengthen, a palpable energy coursing through them. With every blow she delivered, she fought not just for her own heart, but for the love they shared, the destiny they dared to claim. But just when she thought victory was within reach, her opponent surged forward, a brutal swipe catching her off guard. Pain erupted through her side, and she stumbled, gasping for breath as the world around her dimmed. Lyra? Ronan's voice echoed, filled with a mixture of fear and rage as he moved to intervene, but she held up a hand, summoning her resolve. I can do this, she panted, feeling the energy of the moon wrapping around her, guiding her spirit. I won't back down. With newfound strength, she pushed through the pain, launching herself back into the fight with a ferocity she had never known. And in that moment, she realized it wasn't just about proving her worth, it was about standing tall against the tides of fate. She sidestepped her opponent's next strike, delivering a powerful jab that sent him staggering. The cheers and roars from both packs echoed in her ears, blurring the line between past and future. With one final surge of strength, she lunged forward, catching the Ironclaw warrior off guard. They collided with a force that shook the ground beneath them, and in that fleeting moment, she felt time pause. The force grew silent, the world around her fading into a whisper as she drew on every ounce of strength left within her. With a swift and decisive movement, Lyra launched a powerful kick to his midsection. The impact sent her opponent sprawling to the ground with a grunt. The crowd erupted into cheers, but Lyra barely heard them, her pulse roared in her ears, drowning out everything except the fire that blazed within her soul. Get up, Ronan shouted, his voice laced with urgency. You redoing it, Lyra. Fueled by his encouragement, she felt her heart soar, but the opponent was quick to recover. He charged at her again, claws bared and teeth glistening under the moonlight, but this time, Lyra was ready. She sidestepped, using her opponent's momentum against him, and with a well-placed strike, she sent him crashing to the ground once more. Enough! Alaric's voice boomed through the clearing, but the sight of Lyra standing tall, defiance radiating from her every move, had him faltering. You have proven your worth as a fighter, but you are still an Omega, a role to be cherished but never to lead. Lyra's breath was heavy, each inhale laced with pain. I may be an Omega, but my heart beats for the Silverhull Pack. I fight for Ronan and for our right to choose our own destinies. The air crackled with tension, and it felt as if the very trees held their breath, waiting for Alaric's response. Ronan stepped closer, his eyes filled with a fierce pride that sent warmth coursing through her veins. She fights for love, Alaric, he declared, his voice unwavering. You may have strength, but we have something far more powerful. Love her. Alaric scoffed, his lips curling in disdain. Love doesn't win battles, strength does, you know this. Strength can be found in unity, Ronan countered, stepping protectively closer to Lyra. In bonds that transcend bloodlines, we can forge a new future together. The Ironclaw warriors exchanged glances, uncertainty rippling through them. Lyra felt the weight of hope blooming inside her. They were beginning to see the power of love, the undeniable magic that flowed from their hearts. Enough of this. Alaric sneered, his anger bubbling to the surface. If you think love is enough to challenge the moon goddess's decree, then let us see how far you'll go. With a swift motion, Alaric called for another warrior to step forward, a fierce female with a reputation for brutality. If you wish to prove your worth and challenge our tradition, Lyra, then face what you fear most. A murmur swept through the crowd, and Lyra felt her heart race. She had faced one opponent, but another. Yet deep within her, an unyielding fire ignited. This was her moment, not just for herself, but for Ronan, their Pax, and the love that dared to defy the heavens. "I'll fight," she declared, her voice ringing clear and strong. "But I won't fight out of hate or for dominance. I fight for love and for a future where I can choose." As the new opponent stepped forward, the tension in the air intensified. This warrior was larger, her muscles rippling under her fur, predatory instincts radiating from her very being. The crowd's anticipation grew, and Lyra felt Ronan's hands squeeze hers tightly. It was a reminder of everything she fought for. "Stay close to me," he murmured, his eyes filled with fierce determination. "I believe in you, Lyra." "I know," she replied, her heart swelling with love and courage. "And I won't let you down." The duel began with a howl that echoed through the trees, a signal that sent a surge of adrenaline coursing through Lyra's veins. As the female warrior lunged, Lyra sidestepped, narrowly avoiding the claws that could have sliced through her skin. "Quickly, Lyra!" Ronan shouted, his voice urging her on. She countered with a swift jab, landing a blow on her opponent's shoulder. But the warrior responded with a fierce growl, charging back with a vengeance. Lyra ducked, feeling the rush of the wind as her opponent swiped at her again. With each exchange, Lyra danced on the edge of her instincts, guiding her movements with the rhythm of the fight. She could feel the energy of the moon enveloping her, wrapping her in a protective embrace. It was as if the very essence of the universe flowed through her, whispering secrets of strength and hope. "Don't hesitate," Keelan shouted from the sidelines, his voice cutting through the noise of the crowd. "You've trained for this moment. Focus on your center." Ronan added, his eyes locked onto her. "Remember what I taught you." With renewed determination, Lyra found her center, channeling every strike and every dodge into a dance of power. She felt her wolf spirit surge within her, urging her to embrace the wildness, to let go of fear. Then, just as her opponent lunged again, Lyra pivoted, delivering a powerful kick that sent her adversary staggering backward. The crowd erupted into cheers, but she didn't let the moment distract her. She had come too far to falter now. But the Ironclaw warrior wasn't done. With a roar of rage, she charged again, this time with the intention of overwhelming Lyra with brute force. In that moment, everything slowed down. The world around her faded, leaving only the two of them, locked in a battle of wills. As they clashed again, the warrior swiped at her, claws grazing Lyra's arm. Pain erupted, but it was nothing compared to the fire blazing within her. She felt Ronan's presence beside her, and in that moment she drew on his strength, letting it fill her. "Nah!" Ronan's voice rang out, but she was already pushing forward, feeling the wild energy of the night coursing through her. With a fierce howl, Lyra summoned every ounce of strength she had left. She lunged at her opponent, taking her by surprise, and with a swift maneuver, she flipped the warrior onto her back, pinning her down. "Yield!" Lyra demanded, her voice steady, the weight of her conviction pressing down like a heavy mantle. "Yield to the love that can change everything." The Ironclaw warrior squirmed beneath her, rage boiling within her, but Lyra held her ground. She could feel the energy of the crowd, the tides of destiny shifting in her favor. Time hung in the balance, the outcome resting on the edge of a knife. "Yield," Lyra repeated, her voice firm yet compassionate. "Join us in forging a new path." With a growl of frustration, the warrior's gaze flickered with a hint of uncertainty. The crowd held its breath, tension palpable in the cool night air. Finally, with a defeated sigh, the warrior relented. "I yield." A wave of relief washed over Lyra, and she released her hold, stepping back, breaths heaving as the crowd erupted in cheers. She had done it, had fought not only for herself, but for the love that coursed through her veins. Ronan rushed forward, wrapping her in his arms, lifting her off the ground. "You did it, you were magnificent." His voice held disbelief and pride. "I couldn't have done it without you," she replied, her heart racing, emotions swirling. "You believed in me." As they locked eyes, the world around them faded, and they were lost in the depths of each other's gaze. The love they shared felt like a mystical bond, unbreakable and sacred, one that could transcend fate. Alaric, still standing amidst the remaining Ironclaw warriors, looked visibly shaken. This changes everything," he muttered, uncertainty clouding his expression. The moon goddess's choice cannot be undone, but perhaps we can find a way to coexist. Ronan stepped forward, his stance commanding attention. Our love is not a threat, it is a promise that we can rewrite our fates together. The energy in the clearing shifted, whispers and exchanges echoing through both packs. The tides of destiny were shifting, and as the moonlight bathed the clearing in a silvery glow, hope replaced the tension that had once hung heavy in the air. Lyra turned to Ronan, her heart swelling. Together, we can create a future that honors both our packs and our bond. Yes, he agreed, his voice resolute. To love fiercely and to embrace the destiny we forged together. As the night deepened, the moon above them glimmered like a beacon of hope. They could feel the threads of fate weaving a new story, one that held the promise of love, strength, and unity. And in that moment, beneath the watchful gaze of the moon goddess, Lyra and Ronan took their first steps toward a future they would create together, one filled with challenges, triumphs, and the eternal magic of their hearts entwined. In the heart of the forest, they stood hand in hand, a testament to the strength of love in the face